In the first part of the exam, I will ask you some personal questions. Let's talk about mornings. What do you usually do in the mornings?
In my mornings, I usually wake up around 7:30 to 8. I wake up, I get ready for school, brush my teeth, basically stuff like that, use the restroom. And then I go downstairs and talk to my mom and wait outside our front door for my bus to pick me up to go to school.
And do you prefer mornings or evenings?
I'm definitely more of an evening kind of guy because I like to play video games with my friends at night and I like watching TV shows and I like the aesthetic that night brings.
Okay, and has your morning routine changed over time?
Definitely since I started high school, because before high school, my morning routines would be a little different since I woke up a lot earlier to go to elementary school. And I found myself caring more about my looks as I got older. So I wake up and do my hair and stuff like that.
And now let's talk about friends. How often do you spend time with your friends?
Since I live out in the country, I don't see my friends often. But when I do go see them, it's normally on the weekends. And I stay over at their house to get the most out of the experience.
Okay, and what do you usually do when you meet your friends?
When I'm meeting up with my friends, we like to walk down to the grocery store and get snacks. And on that walk, we meet up with other people usually. We like to go to the park and we walk back and we play video games.
Okay, and do you prefer a small group of friends or a big group?
I prefer a medium group of friends, honestly, because with a small group, sometimes you can have those awkward moments because people aren't getting along or an argument happens. But in a big group, you feel out of place because there's just so much things going on. So I'm a form of a medium group of friends, around 4 to 5 people, something like that.
Okay, now let's talk about advertisements. Do you often notice advertisements in your daily life?
I do. So when my parents are driving me around, there's lots of advertisements on the radio, as well as outside, like billboards and stuff like that. And when I'm watching the TV, there's ads all over the place.
And what kind of advertisements make people want to buy something?
The kind of advertisements that correlate to me are the ones that are right in your face and poppy. It's like the ones that have like the big letters, something with a slogan, something catchy, keeps it in your head, and you're like, yeah, I want to buy that thing because you hear the slogan or the popular term over and over again.
And do you think ads change what people choose?
I think ads do change what people choose because, for example, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, they're always have a little battle going on. And if Coca-Cola posts a better advertisement than Pepsi or says something to Pepsi that makes them, I don't know, look worse, I think it could change the consumer's perspective of the.
Okay, thank you so much. This is the end of the first part. Now we move on to the second part. I'm going to give you a topic and I want you to talk about it for up to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say and you can make notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay. Here is the pen, here is the paper, and here is the topic. I want you to describe a situation when you received useful advice.
Thank you.
Okay, your 1 minute is over. You can start speaking now.
One time I received useful advice was honestly when I went to Nashville with my family. We encountered this homeless man across the street since Nashville's just really, it's really bad for poverty and stuff like that. But honestly, a lot of these homeless people, they're just there for the money. But this guy was trying to spread a message to people. And I found that message really touched my heart. And I think it can touch lots of hearts out there. So what happened was we just started talking to this homeless man. And he said, people don't really enjoy the things that they enjoy. They try to enjoy things that they think they're supposed to. See, one example is one time when I was with my family, I told them I really have this passion for a sport called billiards. And they liked the idea at first, but after a couple of years, they didn't like the driving, paying for the tournaments. But it's what made me happy. So I sat down with them, I had a talk, and I brought up that situation in Nashville when he gave useful advice, and they agreed. Another thing he talked about is you're not living your life to your fullest because a lot of people think they have to be something and they're going to disappoint other people. But the only person you have to worry about disappointing is yourself. And as long as you're doing what makes you happy, you're going to have a good time. So basically, that's what the useful advice that the homeless person gave me.
Thank you so much. This is the end of the second part. Now we move on to the third part. Please hand me back pen and paper. Thank you so much. So, in the second part, we've been talking about receiving advice. And now I want to ask you some general questions related to this. Why do some people find it difficult to accept advice from others?
I find that some people find it difficult to accept advice from others because a lot of people are just really self centered and they don't like to take advice from other people. Since they think they're right and no one else's opinion matters, they just want to be right instead of looking at other people's perspectives.
And what kind of advice are most valuable in modern life?
In modern life,
Yes.
I think the most advice that you could give to someone in modern day is honestly just once again going back to what I said before, living your life to your fullest and doing what makes you happy. Because in the modern day, a lot of people think there's these standards, but the only standards you have are the ones you give yourself.
In what way?
In what way? See, in the way I think I have to perform good at a pool tournament, but realistically, I just have to outperform myself. It's you against you out there in the real world, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people.
And do you think young people rely too much on advice from the internet?
I do believe that. See, in this day, a lot of people are on the internet, and I feel like it's consuming our brains because they're watching these videos of people online telling them what they should and should not do, but it's not true because these people are just telling you what they think you should and should not do. There's a lot of bad advice out there. A lot of people think looks is the only thing that matters, or you need to be smart, or you need to be, I don't know, dangerous or athletic, but you don't need to be any of these things. And it's just going into your brain, and that's what you think you need to do. And they have a lot more influence over other people as well.
Yeah, and how can people judge whether advice is reliable or not?
I think you can judge which advice is reliable and what advice is not reliable off of the source mainly. If you're getting it, once again, from someone on TikTok, it's most likely not going to be true. So maybe try getting your own sources from someone credible, like, I don't know, news forecasts. I know they can't always be like exactly on point, but they're going to be a little more reliable than your friend telling you something. You don't
And
know
what
for
about
sure.
parents?
Parents, I think you should trust your parents when they're talking about advice because they've had those real world experiences before, as well as they also know what to do and what not to do because they've made those mistakes in their past.
And how has access to information changed the way people seek and give advice?
I think it's changed the way people seek and give advice since a lot of people are getting their information from non-credible sources. So they're seeking advice that's a little more truthful and like maybe not as mainstream as other advice is because all these mainstream advice is just what people think you should do, but sometimes it's not always true.
Okay, thank you so much. This is the end of the speaking test.
Do you want to know what band score you'll get in the IELTS speaking test? Perhaps you want to improve your performance and prepare yourself for the real test? Then why not book an online mock test with us that will last for 25 minutes? 12 minutes of the test itself and 13 minutes of comprehensive feedback, plus we'll give you useful tips on how to make your performance better. So, we know how to help you. Join us.